Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Claudia. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are one of my regular subscribers or viewers, thank you for coming back and visiting me. I really do appreciate all of you. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be focused more on the lifestyle piece of my channel. I am going to be talking about really interesting topic that I feel is really interesting to me, and hopefully it's interesting to someone out there as well. But I wanted to talk to you more about, the 5 things that I learned about a marriage, of being in a marriage. And some of you know a little bit of my past, but I'll share a little bit of why this topic is really important to me. I was married when I was 19. I got married and I got divorced, within 10 years later, and then I remarried. And I've been remarried for about almost 10 years now. And, it was a really difficult time for me. And we both had kids. So we ended up with a blended family. So as you can imagine, those were some challenges as well, which I am going to be talking to you about in a different video. But today I just want to focus on what I found is so important when you're in a marriage or in a relationship. And I'm going to just talk to you about the 5 things that I feel are really important. And I'm going to start with the first one, that it takes 2 people to make a marriage work. I think it's really easy sometimes to get caught up in what someone else is doing or what you're doing, or who's doing more or who's not doing as much. But I feel like it really does take 2 people to make a marriage work. So if you have one person who's doing all the work and carrying the load while the other person isn't, for whatever the reason is, I've seen marriages suffer because of that reason. I think that is such an important thing, is that it takes 2 people. So, you have to meet somewhere in the middle and figure out where each of your needs are at. But yeah, it's so important that you guys are both working towards a marriage and you're both understanding each other's needs and what you need in the marriage. And it's work every day. I tell people that all the time. They're like, well, how do you guys, you guys seem so happy, and what do you do? And I tell people it takes work. Like, a marriage is not easy. By no means, my marriage is not perfect, but we work hard every day to continue to do the things that we used to do when we started dating. So I think that's one of the big things that we do, is that we both work really hard at the marriage. It's not just one person doing it. So I think that's, one of the big messages for you. Number 2, I'd say is, putting your marriage first sometimes. And I don't mean put your marriage first before you put yourself, because my opinion, I think you should put yourself first, take care of yourself, make sure you're happy, healthy, and whole. Then you could be a good partner. But I look at it more on the perspective, if you are, you have a partner and you have children, as we all know, children can really add a lot of stress to our lives, especially our relationships and marriages. That, one of the things that my new husband and I did a lot was we would do date nights alone. We would go on vacations by ourselves. We would plan, theater shows, and we would do concerts, and we would do a lot of things by ourselves. Fortunately, we had either good babysitters, or we had my parents or our parents, who were actually helping us with the kids, or family members or friends. So we were able to disconnect and just get away and just rebalance. And I feel like that really helped our marriage a lot. I didn't do that in my first marriage. I feel like, it was all about the kids, all about the marriage, all about the home, and all about work. There was no fun in that happy balance of having alone time with your partner. And I think that's one of the things that we do really well, is that we do date nights, and we do date nights all the time. So, and I remember when our kids were young, they used to get mad at us and say, why are you guys always going out to eat without us? And don't get me wrong, we didn't neglect the kids. We still took them out, and we used to do family trips every year, and they went out to the movies and friends, and we did a lot of stuff with them. But we made it a point that the kids knew that it wasn't only about them, that we also needed our time. And we used to tell them, when they used to complain, why are you guys going on vacations and doing these things without us? It's not fair. We used to tell them, hey, you see this happy version of us when we're home? If you want to keep this happy mom and dad version, then let us get out because we need our alone time too, and we need to stay balanced. So we did a really good, and we talked to the kids about it, that when you're in a relationship and when you're in a marriage, that it takes work, and that you have to do things alone, and you have to do things to build your relationship. So I feel like it was a good lesson for the kids to also see that when you're in a relationship, you are going to have to put in the time and the work and find your own balance. So that would say that's number 2 for me, is that we were able to figure out, how we can balance our lives and putting our marriage, at the top sometimes, and while still making sure that we were able to meet the needs of our kids as well. But so that was number 2. And number 3 is really figuring out what your alone time versus your partner time looks like. I think we all have our own definition and our own ideas on how much is too much, right? And I know I have some of my friends who spend every waking moment with their spouse and their kids and their family. And then I have some friends that are very selective when they're actually with their partner and with their alone time. My husband and I both each have our own hobbies. So we really try to do things for ourselves. And then we schedule time, we schedule dates, we schedule time to connect. And sometimes it's, hey, all day we're going to grind. You're going to do your channel. You're going to do your work. You're going to do all the other things that you're doing. And then we're going to, have nice dinner together. So, that's happened quite often too, where we're doing things like that. So I just wanted to put that out there. Really working on finding, how much is too much time or not enough time, and really kind of working that angle. So that's one of the things that I also suggest. Number 4, which I think is a really, really important one, is working hard not to be complacent. I think a lot of us get caught up in the day-to-day grind, that sometimes we are tired, that we just forget to do the little things that we used to do. Maybe you used to bring home flowers for, your partner, or maybe you used to do, the compliments. You used to tell your partner how nice they looked, or ask them how their day was going, or, whatever it is that in your relationship. But I feel like oftentimes in relationships, we can get complacent. So I feel like that is so important, that you don't get complacent, that you work really hard to avoid that. And, figure out what it is. One of the things that I thought about recently, which is why I added complacency, and, and I think it kind of like fits the need, like, when I'm talking about doing the little things and maybe complimenting your partner, or doing whatever it is that you need to do to make your partner happy and also connect and be on a good, healthy balance. I look at Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I feel like they have a really, really sweet relationship, but they're not afraid to compliment each other. They're always making jokes at each other. They have found their person, and they're okay with the whole world knowing it. So I feel like it would be really nice, to have that kind of relationship where you can be on that level, where you can just connect on a different level with your partner. And I feel like I've been able to do that with this relationship, and we're on the same page on a lot of things. So I think, again, working on the complacency part and not being complacent, and doing extra sometimes, or doing the things that you used to do, and kind of reminding yourself like, hey, I used to, we used to do date night, and we don't do that anymore. We used to do we used to binge, or we used to watch our Netflix show. We don't do that anymore. We don't sleep in the same bed anymore. Whatever it is. I think there are so many different things that we can, we all fall on this path, but I just wanted to share that with you. And number 5, which is probably one of the most important ones in my opinion. I put it last because that way, I figured it would be a nice way to end this topic, is gratitude. In my first marriage, I was young when I got married. I had 2 kids, 2 young children. I was finishing college, and I was trying to balance like all of my life. But I did find that towards the end of that relationship, that I had lost a lot of gratitude, that I started to feel like I was entitled. That because I was the wife and because I was the mother of his kids, that I was entitled to all these things, which in reality I wasn't. And I think I lost that sense of just gratitude, of being grateful and being appreciative for the things that I had. And that's one of the things that in my relationship today, I work really hard to stay humble and to be grateful, and I'm appreciative. My husband does things, I thank him. If I can help, I try to help out, and I really think we're both on the same page, where we're both trying to be, try to have that healthy balance. So I feel, again, gratitude is super important in figuring out, what that is for you, and how you move forward with gratitude. But yeah, I feel like gratitude has really brought me to the place that I'm in today, and the position that I'm in, and I'm able to help people, and I'm able to do a lot of the things that I love. But again, I really try really hard to be grateful and show appreciation to anyone around me who's helping me, or people that are supporting me and loving me. So, I wanted to end it with the gratitude piece. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And of course, by no means am I an expert in everything. I'm not an expert. I'm just here sharing my thoughts and being vulnerable and just letting you know what I think. But I would love to be able to learn from all of you too, whoever's watching this video. Leave me a comment. If there's something that you also do in your relationship that's really helped, I would love to hear from you. Or if you think one one of the things that I mentioned really it's not aligned with what you think, I'm so okay with that feedback as well. I love this channel because I love to be able to dialogue with all of you, and I like to learn from everyone as well. So please leave me a comment, give me a like, and if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And as usual, I will see you next time.